What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Ryan Meyer's Expeditions. We've got something really freaking cool for you guys today.
And it's more than just me.
It is more than just you. Justin calls me last night. He's like, bro, it's gonna be all time on the Hamakua coast. It is flatter than he's ever seen it. He's like, lobster season opens at midnight, so get your butt over here. We'll start with a spearfishing day. We'll do a pig hunt in the middle of the day, and then we'll go lobster at night, at midnight when, you know, lobster season officially opens. Mostly though, I have evolved to only really look forward to the pig hunts. We're cruising along and there's a freaking pig just trotting along, and you jump out of the car. Of course, I have all my fancy new gear. I put nothing on. We got within range. I thought I was within my 25 yards.
She said 25 yards, just wait. She's not broadside yet.
I was ready, I drew back.
Oh shoot, she's looking, she's quartering towards us. It's not a good shot.
Justin was saying we were quartering towards me. You didn't like that shot?
Quartering towards shot is never a good shot.
He didn't like the quartering towards. He's like, don't shoot, don't shoot, don't shoot. So I wait. I held on draw for like ever. Definitely longest that I've ever held. And then he walked forward. And then of course, what did I do?
Bro, he shot right over her.
Bro, I suck.
Worst thing that we could have done is shoot a pig.
Worst thing we could have done.
Have it survive for like another 45 minutes.
That's right.
Crawl through the itchy grass. And I would just be, I mean, Ryan would crawl through the itchy grass.
I would
I'd
crawl
sit
through
in
the
my
itchy
truck.
grass. We don't have a pig, which is fine because you're gonna put me on another one later, yeah?
Hopefully.
Or
Hopefully we'll get
maybe
lucky.
I just quit and I film you and we actually get to see a pig die on this channel for once.
That's usually the best idea.
But for now, we're gonna show you what we're using and then we're gonna see you guys in the water.
What is up, guys? Welcome to another Adventures with Justin. Polo Sub Brown, turn around. You can get them custom. So you can say Myers or Howley, whatever you want to put. I feel that the camouflage helps. I get it camouflaged. What is Ryan gonna be using today? Two pathos. First, he's got a 105 laser. You can, dude.
Can I take both?
You can do whatever you like.
I can't decide.
If he's gonna take both, he's gonna have to carry the stringer though.
I got that 105 enclosed track aluminum sniper, and then I got my 110 Pathos laser carbon roller and a half. We both got our Setma Mantra fins. He's got the Setma edges. Any of this stuff you guys see us using, you can get at AmericanDiveCo.com, and I put all the links to that down below. We've got a discount code for you guys, 10% off your entire order, RMX10.
Or you can wait for the J. Lee Stories 10. It's coming out shortly.
All right, Justin, you can only advertise your own code on your own channel, all right?
This is my channel.
The 3-prong is pretty special out here in Hawaii. Even though almost all the local kids start with one, it isn't just a beginner spear. Out here, they are used to hunt real trophies, like aluas and ukus. And in the right hands, it's actually a far more effective tool to gather food than any spear gun. And since 3-prongs haven't changed that much, that means someone like Justin has been using a similar spear for over 20 years. That's 20 years of practice with the same tool. And when someone is that good at something, it's really best just to sit back, enjoy, and see what you can learn.
An angel dressed in velvet. I tried to speak, but couldn't make a sound. The sun reflecting in her eyes as I was standing hypnotized. Her laughter when she turned around knocked me over to the ground. Medic went down March, got a serious injury. It's ripped to pieces in my chest. Oh, medic, what can you do? This is some serious witchery. She's my only antidote.
So as we were cruising along, we bumped into a knife jaw, which we could see down on the bottom, kind of cruising in and out. Now, that's a fish that we really want to take home with us. You know, I want that fish, Justin wants that fish, but back to like this proficiency with the 3-prong and how like there's no limits to this thing. We had 2 spear guns on a float 10 feet away from us. There was never a question. There was never a talk of, hey, somebody should go get the spear gun. That wasn't what happened. It was just, hey, you filming? Yep, okay. Dropping down, there he is. You can see that knife jaw coming in, cruising real close. You can see Justin hiding there behind the rock, ready. And then right here, just when it comes into range, that little bit of flick forward just flicks that spear just in the right spot. and he's such a pro, hit it right there in the spine, and the fish was ours.
Guys!
When I close my eyes, she's all I see. I can't find no remedy. My heart's a feeling in my chest. She made a cardiac arrest. Oh, Benedict went down. My heart's got a serious injury.
The hope for today was to kind of really explore some new grounds. You know, we dive a lot of the same access points over here, and there's just so much life that we don't explore. You know, we jump in the water and we dive right in front of us because that's kind of where all the fish are, and that's it. Whereas over on, you know, the Kona coast, we jump in the water and we cruise. You know, we'll swim miles to find those little bit bigger pockets of fish or a little bit more special fish. So the plan here was to get real shallow, collect your coles along the way, and see if we could swim into the current far enough that we could see if we could find some new spots, and then drift back with the current and hunt those deeper zones. Eventually we decided that we swam far enough and it was time to head offshore and explore and kind of see what we found with these new grounds. And what was crazy was when we got out here, like, it was unbelievable. I mean, big, giant, beautiful pinnacles, sheer rock walls dropping down, you know, 30 feet all the way down to 100. And just, it looked so incredibly fishy, but all day long we kept saying to each other, like, there should be more fish here, there should be more fish here. Wasn't that there wasn't a lot of fish around, it was just that the structure looked so freaking good. So we're gonna start here with Justin's camera, and I've absolutely fallen in love with getting other people's footage and examining it, because when I'm on the surface, I'm 100 feet up, I don't get to see what he's doing down there. You know, either he shoots a fish, or he doesn't. That's all I know. But to get to see his perspective and see how he's down here on the bottom and how he's scratching and how he's dusting and how he's looking at this moo right here and waiting for it to make a mistake and get just enough close enough and make this shot happen. But what's really cool is I like to see Justin's dives where he doesn't shoot any fish, because I've seen some of the ones before where he gives them to me and I've seen that, you know, what happens. I see him shoot the fish. But to see that move come across and he kind of go for it but not really, decide maybe it wasn't big enough or maybe it wasn't quite worth all that effort at the beginning of the dive, and then to pass on it, cruise to the surface and do another one. So we got another Jay Lee dive here, and you can see very much like I would do, he gets down here to the bottom, gets those knees down in that little sand pit, and he's got his left arm up and it's ready to do any kind of scratching or dusting or whatever. What I do really like about what I'm seeing in Justin's style is he definitely does put a little bit more effort than me into that dusting. You know, I say dust, but my dusting is probably a little bit more like scratching. But you can see how that little dust cloud went up in front of him, and now it's almost like a cloak. It's like, you know, it's kind of like a blind. He's out there, he's kind of protected from those fish, and they can't quite see what's going on through it. So he scared that one little table boss there, which kind of threw everything off real quick. But this dive, he's actually gonna take a moo, and what's crazy, you can see his head is still going up left, right, still turning and looking, because on this coast it is so notorious to just have an uku pop in behind you. And this was a good moo here. This is probably in that 3-4 pound class, but these are pretty common over here, and he's still always looking for that uku that's gonna sneak up on him. But he manages to do that beautiful lunge forward, the classic Jay Lee, one pull, close that distance, and made it happen on a beautiful fish. We got another Jay Lee dive here, and this one was really cool because I actually remember seeing this from the surface because it was shallow enough and there was this really high rock that just had a ton of life. And there was an Alua charging right in on him. I actually thought from the surface that was an uku at the time. I didn't know it was an Alua until after I came up and I was like, why didn't you shoot it? What happened? And he was like, oh, it was Alua. But you can see how much life is down here. And when you find the right spot, that's how it works. You know, you can look all day long for one nice little rocky pinnacle, and that's where all the big joes were. That's where there's a couple nice stud Moana Kalis came through. That uku, I mean, that Alua, which very easily could have been an uku. There could definitely be ukus or anything else here on this zone. And when there's so many targets, a lot of times we all do it where we just can't quite decide. You know, he's kind of like, oh, maybe I'll shoot this joe, maybe I'll shoot that. Eventually takes the Moana Kali, which you've known if you watch our videos, we have such a hard time passing. But check this out right here, guys. As he was pulling up that Moana Kali, that was swimming around with the omilu. The omilu doesn't leave and tries to keep going after the moana kole and seeing if it's food. He's like, oh, it's disturbed, something's happening. And that is what we're doing out there as divers, to try and confuse these fish. We're trying to be like, you know, non-threatening enough, but also interesting enough that those fish will come over, check you out, see what's going on, and decide maybe you are food. Eventually, he cruised on back to the bottom where he belonged. What I find really, really cool about Justin and so much of his spearfishing is it's based around some kind of need, some kind of purpose. You know, it's not just, hey, I'm going spearfishing for fun again. You know, on this day, he was actually leaving to go elk hunting for like a full month right the next day. So he's like, Ryan, I really need some fish. And he's gonna take all this fish to elk camp with him, where he's gonna cook it up every night. They're gonna eat moana koles and kumus and Joe Louis and lobster while they're out there in Colorado or wherever the hell he goes, trying to shoot those tagged elk that he does. And it's just such a cool way to kind of have this, to give purpose to your spearfishing. So he told me, he's like, shoot some of these joes. You know, these are fish that you guys see us, we pass on a lot of times, but sometimes we do take them. They are freaking fantastic to eat. So he's down here, and I love this shot because he always makes fun of me shooting into the rocks. And what does he do right there but completely obliterate that rock? So we're gonna switch back over to my camera now. This is me diving, and what's really cool and really special about this is I shoot a lot of those same fish that he does. You know, I get a couple moo in these next two clips, so you guys can kind of watch and see some of those similarities between, you know, the techniques that I use and the techniques that he used, and kind of see exactly what is obviously working. I mean, to go out here and collect pretty much as many moo as you want. I mean, I took 2, he took 2, is kind of special. These fish are not known to be, you know, dumb. So to make this happen over and over consistently, we're definitely doing something right. So I get down to the bottom the way I always do. I kind of try and find a comfortable spot, get as settled as I can. I throw some grunts out, and then I kind of wait and look around and see what comes into me. You know, like I've mentioned in this video and before, I'm always afraid. I'm always watching for that uku to come in behind me, sniffing my heels, and I don't want to miss it. The nightmare is to shoot that joe, and then I'll turn around behind you on your way up and be like, oh, there was my uku. So I'm always watching for those. Those are those big head spins. And then eventually I'll kind of settle in on a target. And for this dive, that's gonna be this moo right here. I've decided that's what I want to shoot. Nothing else is coming in. And for this dive, I actually had to make a big movement. You know, I had to bring that gun from way off to my right and then all the way kind of back underneath me and to my left. You know, this was where that fish was, and unlike an uku, he's not going to travel a lot. So I have very low chance of him coming around and coming in front of me. I'm going to have to spin around, and I'm going to have to go to him if I want to make it happen. Luckily, I moved slow and calm enough, and I was able to kind of give myself that one little pull there, close the distance, and make that shot. So this is going to be another moo dive for me. And again, even myself, just sitting here comparing my own dives from, you know, what Justin's doing to what I'm doing is kind of fascinating. Like, I really don't know that I'm dusting enough. You know, I watch his, and he really gives himself that cloud, that little bit of camouflage that he can kind of blend in and hide behind. Whereas, you know, I'm doing much more of a subtle scratch. I think I'm definitely moving a little bit less than him. I think my speed is definitely a little bit slower. You can see those head movements are definitely smaller and slower, but I definitely want to work on that cloud. You know, that's something now that I'm watching my own footage, and I'm gonna go out here next time I go spearfishing, and I'm gonna see if I can make myself a little bit more cloud, because no matter what, no questions asked, Justin is the moo master, and whatever he's doing is definitely working. So you can see those real slow head turns back and forth, check in to make sure there's no uku sneaking up on me, and then getting, as my dive cruises along, getting a little bit longer, I'm gonna then select my target, this moo right here in front of me, bring that gun out so slowly as I possibly can. It flips over, now it's in my hand, it's in the proper grip, and I'm gonna see right now with my left hand if I can find a little position that I can give myself a little nudge forward if I need it. You know, on this one, that one came close enough, it was no big deal, managed to shoot this thing, secure it, and make it happen.
Where you unload, where I go shoot?
Shoot away. You need some fish, huh?
I get one.
So Justin was like, get back out there, get me one uhu before you unload. And as you saw all day long, they're always in your face until you want one. But I hadn't swam 5 feet away when I saw this one. And I just did a half-ass dive bomb down here. And I was like, there's no way this is gonna happen. This thing's cruising in and out. And you'll see in this video, I kind of give up on him like 3 or 4 different times. And I'm like, there's no way. But I'm just kind of hanging out, creeping around the rocks, looking around, total kooking it. And you'll see this thing gives me chance after chance after chance. But I don't really wanna shoot my gun unless I make this happen, because if I don't come back with an uhu for Justin, he's gonna laugh at me for the entire rest of the day. So you see he kind of moves off. I gave up there. Then I hopped over here to another rock and he just came close enough, made this pass just in front of me, and I was able to stick this thing in the head, because let's face it, if you don't shoot these things in the head, they just kind of explode and swim away.
It's mission number 1 of 3 complete. Successful dive there. Not quite as many fish as we would have hoped. Me and Justin are literally like bitching and moaning, whining, climbing up the cliff. We're like, oh, we don't have any fish, and yet we can't even carry the amount of fish we have. So one really sick knife jaw, that was fish of the day. I got a couple moo, he got a moo, we got a whole mess of kole there for the rancher, and uhu there at the end for the rancher. Now, what time is it?
Pig 30.
It is pig 30. I'm taking this wetsuit off. I'm putting my camo on because I'm not falling for that shit I did before. We were on the way up here, and this dude was like, oh, just here, go off here, go through that grass, and then walk through here, and I'll pick you up at the bottom. I was like, all right, sure. Go off through the tallest grass, put my entire body, itchy as hell. Then I come down here and I put my wetsuit on, burning. Then I jump in the salt water, burning. Then I pee, and it's like a just death burning, whatever. I had to take my wetsuit off. I had to like rub my whole body down. It was absolutely the worst thing ever. So I'm gonna go put my camo on. Time for mission number 2, hunt for pigs.
You see the 2 freaking cows way up there?
Yes, I see it. I see a pig. It's really far away though.
Oh, it might be a calf.
I cannot do binoculars with one hand. We have been pig hunting for all of 30 seconds. This is pig hunting with Justin Lee. He's a much better pig guide than he is spearfishing guide, because
really?
That kind of sucked.
Ryan has been the guide for me exactly 2 times. I tell him, I'm gonna go dive Hamakua. It's pretty nice. He's like, no, bro, come meet me over here. I'm like, ah. He's like, bro, Onos and Ukus. The last time I came over here, dropped chum. As soon as Onos came flying in. What happened? Nothing.
The people already know this story. Okay, they've already seen this.
No matter how many times this happens, it's still really funny.
How old are you? Get out of here. How hungry are you?
I haven't actually eaten since.
Oh, you're not
last
eating
night.
anymore, are you?
No, I fasted. I usually fast till noon. I've been doing that intermittent fasting. Not anything after 8 o'clock and eat until noon.
Huh.
And so I haven't eaten anything.
I was gonna say that we're both starving.
Yes.
And neither of us are eating until I have a dead pig or I have no more arrows. Now.
Over, under, arrows.
I have 3 arrows, and I was planning on upgrading to some new broadheads and also taking a few shots at your house.
Oh.
But that's not happening. So we're gonna shoot my used broadheads that have already either, who are we kidding? They've already shot dirt. and we're gonna make this happen. Wait.
Did you see something?
Stop.
No, at the edge of the trees, it's not. It's okay.
Yeah. Does a rock get you every time?
Yeah. No, you're looking at the bottom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope, that's a rock. Justin has been dropping mac nuts.
Yes.
And telling me about it all the time. So, we've got everything we need. The pigs have been fed. Which one you said was gonna come by tonight? Was it Charlie?
Pickle, nickel, tickle.
Pickle Nickel's gonna come by. So most of the animals Justin shoots have been named, tagged, you know, they get fattened up and then they get released. So that's kind of the secret to hunting is what I found out. So that's what Justin's finally gonna do for me.
Because I've never done anything else for him other than give him a place to live, a job,
Car.
a YouTube channel.
A YouTube channel. He basically just gave it to us. Hear that, Sam? Let's go.
Just see where the wind's blowing.
How stealthy is your white shirt?
So stealthy. This is what happens when you take my dog hunting. Daddy, can you hold this? And some pine cones? God, we're gonna mess this up. You see that thing? That's a couple. Oh my gosh. Those are rocks.
Are they going to the nuts?
Yeah. I think we just wait here. So something bigger comes with them, yeah.
No, I've read before with like pigs that like a lot of times the small ones will come in first and the big ones are a little smart and they'll watch. Is that real?
Hopefully.
Why wouldn't they have eaten all your mac nuts last night or this morning?
Because there's like 1,000 pounds.
Really? They eat until they're full and they leave.
I think because I was also here Friday with Belle. So maybe our scent was around the last couple of days as well.
Did you shoot that big boar right here?
Yeah.
Really? Eating the nuts?
No, he was chasing.
Close by.
Yeah.
How badly would you judge me if I shot one of those little ones?
I bet you $10 you can't.
Because I can't hit it. Because I can't get close enough.
Both.
Alright, that's the confidence my guide has in me.
All right, guys, pig hunt was a total fail. Went over to the Mac Nuts. Pigs were there, but not quite the size we were looking for. So we had a delicious, healthy meal of about, I don't know, 2 pounds of smoked meat each. Now we're about to swap out the camo again, put the wetsuits back on, and do what we came to do, which is crush some lobster. Mission number 3 of the day, starting now.
So back to kind of talking about that 3-prong. You know, we were getting ready, jumping in for our night dive, and he's like, where's your 3-prong? And I'm like, I'm not carrying a 3-prong. There's no way that I can carry a 3-prong, a bag, and grab lobsters. Well, as soon as I jumped in the water, I regretted that decision, as this kumu came swimming right up underneath me, and then pretty much all night, I would feel like that. As every time I turned around, it was like Justin had some kind of fish, you know, a moi, one of these giant moo, a kumu, something freaking awesome. No matter how many times you go diving out here at night, you just can't stop thinking about sharks. So that's really one of the big reasons I don't carry a spear, especially when you got these turtles all over the place just bumping into you, and all I'm thinking about all night is, these are tiger shark food. Why are they in here? Why are they next to me? It really is so special though to get out here at night and see some of these species that only really come out in the dark and that you just don't get a chance to see during the day, and know that you have a way smaller chance of getting eaten by a shark out here at night than you probably do boogie boarding at the beach. And like always, after that initial shock kind of wears off of being in the water at night and only being able to see a little bit of zone in front of you and always kind of thinking about those tiger sharks in the back of your mind, you really relax and you get into that groove of diving up and down and checking in the holes and finding these lobsters. And guys, I cannot encourage you enough. If you live out here in Hawaii and you haven't gone out here and tried night diving, give it a try. I'll put a link to some of the lights that I use down below. There is no better way to get out there, enjoy the night, see something new, and catch some great food.
Yo, you passed it all those little ones?
Yeah.
I saw you one big one. You got 3 good ones? And you passed all those little ones?
Yeah.
Mother. So after a really long, late night diving with Justin there, I came back here to find my friend Devi, who just got into town to visit us. And Devi is a professional chef. Happening.
Lobster Benedict. So we're doing the champagne hollandaise, we're doing butter poached lobster, and instead of like a muffin base, which is kind of boring, Sam mentioned we should do a hash brown base. So we're doing a hash brown base. We're caramelizing onions right now, so it's just onions, you let them sweat, which means the onions start to like leak water. Once they start to leak water or sweat, you add a little bit of salt, and then you put butter in there so they start to brown really nicely. All right, let's go one time.
How many are you gonna make?
Well, that really depends. How much lobster you can eat on top of hash browns?
A lot.
Okay, so we're doing 3.
Properly euthanized, people. I put them in the fridge on ice. They are not alive this time. We listened. Salt in the water?
Always salt in the water. Salt on everything. Okay, so I think we can fit about 2 in there, and then come back to a boil real quick and cook them off for about 8 minutes. We're gonna start our reduction for our hollandaise, which is gonna be onions, garlic, and champagne, actually.
Did you get it? Champagne?
Yeah.
You found it?
Yeah. Went and got 2 bottles, one for drinking, one for cooking.
Yes, Stevie fits right in.
Right now we're doing the champagne reduction, so it's gonna be butter, onion, and garlic. Just kind of sweat it out, and then add champagne and let it reduce down. It's a good reason to drink in the mornings. So we got all the chunky stuff. It's got like a lot of flavor in it. And so we just want to kind of reduce it down a little bit and compact that flavor. Like here we go, Sam.
Wow.
We're gonna clean the lobsters and then put it into just like, straight up butter, honestly. And we're gonna butter poach them.
I don't know what that means, but I like it. So you want the meat out of the lobsters?
Yes, sir.
I will take care of that. All right, guys, I don't know what he's doing over here, but it looks ridiculous. Those are potatoes.
Yes, so what we
Shredded
did
potatoes.
is we shredded potatoes, we're draining all the water out of it, and we're really trying to press the water out of
I
it.
see that.
Looks like this. That way, when we get it into the pan, there's not gonna be moisture, and it actually like really caramelizes and not steams. This is for you. What you're gonna do is you're gonna brown this on the bottom, and after it's browned, you're gonna throw in all the rest of our ingredients and just mix it in together until it's like nice and crispy.
Cool.
The lobsters in here and there, just soaking in butter.
Yeah, so a little bit of heat, not much, like very lightly heated. So they're warm in butter.
I love it. So you're soaking them in butter.
Yeah.
That sounds magic.
You just need like a little bit of vinegar and it really helps the eggs stay together.
One for your friends.
Then I'll yell in French.
Look at her go!
All right, 2 more, please. To be honest, they were neglected a little bit, so they were a little darker than we want. They're still gonna be great.
I burned the potatoes, and I'm sorry, okay?
Basically, we're done. We got our hash browns done, we got our eggs cooking, we got the lobsters done. The only thing we're gonna do at the end is make the butter sauce, just because it's really best served like right away. Right now, it's just the champagne reduction that we did.
Did we did?
Eggs, yeah. We were there for that.
Guys, looking freaking amazing.
Goes with eggs, definitely goes with lobster.
This.
All right, that's the gambit.
Let's eat.
Cheers!
Cheers. The first DV meal.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow, the hollandaise!
It's nice, right? I think the hollandaise lobster is really well together.
This is what it's all about, guys. Went out with Justin, caught a bunch of lobsters. Now cooking them into something totally new, something that I definitely do not. I'm not a Benedict type guy. Sam's always the Benedictor, but
I'm so sorry for the potatoes.
wow. It tastes so fancy. Like
It is.
it is so rich and delicious and beautiful. I'm looking at my tiny plate and I'm like, I want like 3 plates of this. Guys, thank you so much for watching that video. Thank you so much for buying a shirt if you did. We got a bunch more coming for you guys. Stay tuned and we'll see you next time right here on Ryan Meyer's Expeditions.